Hi, I'm Grier from the Sony Centre in Carlisle, and today I've come all the way down to Sony's head office in Weybridge because Sam's got a very new special camera to show us. It's the A7R Mark V. So Sam, 61 megapixels, same as the A7R Mark IV, so what's the difference?
So that's pretty much the only thing which is same or similar to the original A7R Mark IV. Everything else gets a boost, and even the number of focusing points on that 61 million pixel sensor has been improved. So we've gone from 576 autofocus points on the previous generation to 693 on this. But the autofocus itself has been completely revolutionized thanks to a brand new artificial intelligence chip.
So it does feel very, very similar in terms of how it's handling, but I can notice straight away there is a different mount to the LCD screen at the back.
Yeah, you're spot on. So it will feel very familiar, but if we're talking about physical differences, that LCD screen on the back can now articulate through 4 different axes. So you can pretty much tilt it to any sort of angle you want. The other thing about that touchscreen as well is you can fully control the camera's menu systems. Previously, you've been able to sort of touch focus, swipe through your pictures, not much else. With this, if you're self-shooting, if you've got the camera facing yourself, you can swipe up from the bottom to bring up the FN menu, or if you press the menu button, you can change all of the menu options through the touchscreen for the first time. In addition to that as well, the viewfinder is the larger, higher resolution viewfinder, which you've seen previously on A7S Mark III, so it's over 9 million dots. It has a refresh rate of up to 120 frames per second. And don't let me forget, the LCD screen is also higher resolution as well. That's now a 2 million dot LCD screen as well.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are incredibly clear, and the touchscreen is very, very fast, and it's absolutely bang on.
Yeah, it's highly responsive, and this is because everything in the camera's got an upgrade. So your Bion's XR processor in there, it's 8 times faster than the previous generation. So you have fast continuous shooting, we're still 10 frames per second, but the autofocus, like I say, is totally different. So we have a brand new artificial intelligence chip, and this chip makes all the difference. It is capable of recognizing humans, animals, birds, cars, planes, trains. You tell the camera what it is you want to focus on and it will recognize them because it's a deep learning chip which has millions of patterns built into it so that whatever you tell it to lock onto, it'll focus on. It can even focus on insects.
So a deep learning chip means the more whoever uses it on their subject, the camera's going to learn how they're going to use it, and it'll
all you need is to tell the camera what subject you're shooting. So it doesn't get any smarter than day one. From day one, it is ready to go. So you can select from the drop-down menu in the autofocus options, I want to focus on humans. And this deep learning chip has posture recognition. So it knows, or it can work out where my ears, my eyes, my nose, my mouth, my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, my hips, my knees, my feet are. And from that, estimate if it can't work out where my head, where my face is. So that if I was a motorcyclist and I had a full face helmet on, it would still work out where your head is and focus on that point. So in the menu system, you go in there, you tell the camera, do I want to focus on humans? If I want to focus on humans, do I want to prioritize eyes, heads, body, that sort of thing? Same with animals. With animals, for the first time, it can work out where animals' eyes are, where their heads are, and where their bodies are. And also key with this model, it does the same in video. Previously, we've had one or few sacrifices with autofocus when it comes to video. Not only can this camera use all those autofocus modes in video, it's also 8K. And you might say, do I need 8K? In this particular case, 8K is great because we can crop into that 8K video, pan, tilt, zoom, so that if we're rendering in 4K, if we're rendering in HD, we've got all that information that we can crop into.
It sounds absolutely fantastic. And again, all the connectivity, I noticed that there's a full-size HDMI on the side, microphone, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when it comes to connectivity, the Rs and the A1s are capable of pixel multi-shift shooting, where we move the sensor to super sample the shot you're taking, combining up to 16 different shots into one 240 megapixel image. We've actually upgraded the desktop software, so Imaging Edge Desktop, so that if something moves in between those shots, previously it could ruin your shot, you'd get color bleed. Now the software can recognize where something has moved and correct for that using the Imaging Edge desktop software. So again, multi-pixel shift. It's available for the A7R Mark IV, the A7R Mark V, the A1. It means you can shoot on this particular camera up to 240 megapixel images.
And again, 2 card slots, but with the CF Express Type A slots as well.
Absolutely. So both slots are compatible with both CF Express Type A, but also UHS-2 SD cards. So, and that is really key because again, with the previous generation, the A7R Mark III could shoot basically 30 frames in RAW before it buffered. The Mark V can actually shoot 4 times that before it starts buffering. And again, speaking of RAW, people get a little bit scared by the size of these files. You know, you could be talking 120 megabytes for one single file. With this, not only can you shoot lower resolution in RAW, so you could switch to shooting 26 million pixels or 15 million pixels. In addition to that, we've also improved the uncompressed RAW setting. So you can compress your RAW files between 50 and 80% to mean that if you're shooting, you don't need to be scared of archiving because you can archive those compressed, lossless RAW files.
And I noticed you've changed the infrared sensor on the front.
Yeah, actually that's a really good point. The artificial intelligence chip works with a new infrared sensor and visible light sensor, so our main sensor, to correct white balance. Sometimes with cameras you get difficult scenes for white balance. You get low light situations, you get, if you're in a snowy situation, pure white background, sometimes your white balance can go blue. That's a brand new infrared sensor which works in conjunction with the main sensor and the AI chip to set white balance perfectly correctly as it should be. So yeah, that is also a new feature.
Well, that's fantastic, Sam. So thanks again for sharing it with us and let us to come down and have a look at it. It's available right now on the website to pre-order. Stock is available shortly, so either give us a ring in store or place your order online.
Thanks for being down, Grier.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers.
Cheers.